Most men think respect is something you ask for with words. They think if they explain themselves better, talk louder, or prove their value, people will finally take them seriously. That belief is wrong, and it's costing men their power every single day. Real respect is rarely given because of what you say. It's given because of what people feel when you walk into a room. Long before you open your mouth, others have already decided how they're going to treat you. Your posture, your eye contact, your pace, your silence, all of it sends a signal. And most men are sending weak signals without realizing it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The man who talks the most often commands the least respect. The man who explains himself too much looks unsure. The man who rushes to be liked gives away authority. Respect doesn't come from chasing approval. It comes from self-control, presence, and restraint. From being grounded enough that you don't need validation. This topic matters because modern men are constantly told to express more, say how you feel, and communicate everything. But no one tells you when silence is more powerful than speech. No one teaches you how calm confidence can dominate a room without aggression. No one explains how emotional control quietly separates leaders from followers. And that's what we are breaking down here. Not fake dominance. Not arrogance. Not trying to intimidate people. But the subtle behaviors that make others instinctively respect you, without you saying a single word. The kind of respect that makes people listen when you finally do speak. The kind that makes boundaries unnecessary to explain because they are already felt. Welcome to the channel. If you're a man who wants to move differently, think sharper, and carry himself with quiet authority, you're in the right place. Here, we talk about the unspoken rules of respect, self-mastery, and masculine presence in a way that's practical, honest, and grounded in real life. Not motivational noise. Today's topic is about learning how to command respect without forcing it, begging for it, or talking yourself into circles. Because once you understand how respect really works, you stop trying to earn it, and you start embodying it. 1. Your body speaks before you do. The first foundation of commanding respect without saying a word is how you carry yourself. Most men underestimate this, but your body is speaking long before your mouth does, and people are listening. Respect starts with stillness. Men who are respected don't fidget, rush, or constantly adjust themselves. They move with intention. They sit still. They stand grounded. Their movements are calm, not nervous or jumpy. That calm signals control, and control is something people instinctively respect. When a man looks comfortable in his own skin, others feel it immediately. Posture plays a huge role here. A straight spine, relaxed shoulders, head level. Not slouched, not puffed up. Slouching communicates uncertainty even if you feel confident inside. Overdoing it looks like you're trying too hard. Real presence is natural. You take up space without apology. Eye contact is another silent authority tool. Too little eye contact looks insecure. Too much looks aggressive. The sweet spot is calm, steady eye contact. When someone speaks, you look at them fully. You don't dart your eyes away out of discomfort. That alone makes people slow down and take you seriously. Picture this. You walk into a room where people are already talking. One man enters loudly, announcing himself, trying to be noticed. Another man walks in calmly, observes for a moment, stands comfortably, and doesn't rush to insert himself. Within minutes, people start glancing at the second man. Someone eventually approaches him. Not because he demanded attention, but because his presence felt solid. Pace matters too. Men who rush their movements look like they're chasing approval or control. Slowing down tells people you're not anxious to be accepted. You walk slower. You respond slower. You move deliberately. Even how you sit matters. Feet grounded. Arms relaxed. No constant tapping, adjusting, or fidgeting. These details send a clear message. Uncomfortable being here. The truth is simple. Respect isn't demanded. It's detected. Before you try to command respect with words, fix what your body is already saying, because if your presence is weak, no amount of talking will save it. 2. Control your reactions or lose authority. One of the fastest ways men lose respect is by reacting too quickly. Emotional reactivity tells people you're easy to provoke, easy to move, and easy to control. Men who command respect don't give that power away. This is about emotional discipline. Not suppressing emotions, but not displaying every emotion the moment it appears. You pause. That pause is power. When a man can absorb pressure without reacting instantly, people sense strength. Many men explain themselves the moment they feel misunderstood. They defend, justify, and clarify. But that urge usually comes from insecurity, not clarity. Respected men don't rush to be understood. They trust that time and behavior will speak louder than explanations. Silence is uncomfortable for most men, so they fill it with words, nervous jokes, extra details, over-communication. But silence creates weight. When you don't rush to respond, people pay closer attention. They lean in mentally. Facial control matters more than most men realize. Eye rolling, sighing, visible frustration. These small reactions give away emotional control. Men who are respected keep a neutral face under pressure. Calm doesn't mean weak. Calm means stable. Another respect killer is needing to win every moment. Correcting people unnecessarily. Arguing over small things. Proving you're right. High-respect men don't argue for ego. They speak when it matters and let the rest pass. Oversharing also lowers respect. Not everyone needs access to your struggles, plans, or emotions. Privacy creates strength. When people know less, they assume more. The principle is simple. The man who controls himself controls the room. When people see that you're not easily shaken, not easily offended, and not desperate to respond, they treat you differently. You don't command respect by being louder. You command it by being harder to move emotionally. 3. Stop chasing validation. One of the quietest respect killers is the need for approval. Most men don't see it in themselves because it hides behind being nice, being helpful, or keeping the peace. But underneath it, the message people receive is clear. This man needs to be liked. And men who need approval are rarely respected. Respect grows when people feel that you don't require their validation to feel solid about yourself. That doesn't mean being rude, distant, or cold. It means your sense of worth isn't negotiable and it isn't up for public voting. You're comfortable whether people agree with you or not. A common mistake is adjusting your behavior to fit whoever you're around. Changing your opinions, tone, or personality to avoid discomfort might feel smooth in the moment, but it slowly erodes how others see you. Men who are respected are consistent. You know where they stand. You know what they're about. That consistency builds trust, and trust leads to respect. Another way validation seeking shows up is through overgiving. Always being available. Always saying yes. Always offering help before it's asked for. While generosity is good, excess availability signals low value. If your time, energy, and attention are always open, people unconsciously treat them as cheap. Respected men give intentionally, not impulsively. Compliment fishing is another subtle signal. Talking down about yourself so others can reassure you. Highlighting your efforts so someone notices. Bringing up your sacrifices to be acknowledged. These behaviors push people into the role of emotional caretaker, and once that happens, respect drops. Men who command respect don't chase praise. They let results speak. They don't need to announce their value because they're living in alignment with it. When you're internally grounded, external approval becomes optional, not necessary. There's also power in being willing to disappoint. Many men fear conflict so much that they'll sacrifice their own standards to avoid tension. But boundaries that bend for everyone mean nothing. When people see that you're willing to stand by your decisions, even when it's uncomfortable, they take you seriously. Here's the reality most men avoid. Not everyone has to like you for you to be respected. In fact, if everyone likes you, you're probably compromising too much. Respect comes from self-trust, not applause. When you stop chasing validation, something interesting happens. People start offering respect without being asked. Not because you demanded it, but because they feel that you don't need it. 4. Move with purpose, not urgency. One of the clearest signs of a man who lacks respect, without him ever realizing it, is urgency. Rushing to respond. Rushing to decide. Rushing to please. Urgency tells people that something controls you, and men who are controlled don't command respect. Purpose is different. Purpose is calm. It's deliberate. It's grounded. When a man moves with purpose, nothing about him feels frantic. His actions have weight because they're intentional, not reactive. Look at how you handle decisions. Do you immediately agree just to keep things smooth? Do you rush into commitments before thinking them through? Men who are respected take their time. They pause. They consider. Even a simple, "I'll think about it," shifts the power dynamic. It signals that your time and attention matter. This also shows up in how you speak, but not what you say. Speaking slowly, clearly, and without filler words changes how people receive you. Men who talk fast often sound unsure, like they're afraid of being interrupted or ignored. Slowing your speech tells people you expect to be heard. Purpose also means doing fewer things, but doing them well. Many men try to impress by being busy, involved in everything, available to everyone. That spreads your energy thin and makes you predictable. Respected men are selective. They don't rush into every opportunity. They choose where to invest themselves. Another overlooked aspect is how you handle interruptions. Men with urgency immediately stop what they're doing when someone demands attention. Men with purpose finish their thought, complete their action, then engage. That small difference communicates self-respect, and others follow your lead. Purposeful men don't explain every step they take. They don't narrate their lives. They act first, speak second. This creates quiet authority because people can sense that your actions are driven internally, not by external pressure. When you remove urgency, people stop feeling like they can rush you. They wait. They adjust to your pace. They take you more seriously, not because you force them to, but because your behavior sets the standard. Purpose isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up in how you move, decide, and respond. And when people feel that steadiness, respect follows naturally. Fifth, let your standards speak for you. Nothing commands respect faster than visible standards. Not standards you talk about. Standards you live by. Most men say they have values, boundaries, and principles, but their behavior quietly contradicts them. People don't respect what you claim. They respect what you tolerate and what you walk away from. A man with standards doesn't need to lecture others. He doesn't threaten. He doesn't over-explain. His reactions are simple and consistent. When something doesn't align with him, he disengages. That silence is louder than any argument. Here's how this plays out in real life. You're dealing with someone who consistently shows up late, dismisses your time, or crosses small lines. Most men complain internally but keep showing up the same way. A respected man adjusts his behavior instead of arguing. He becomes less available. He shortens interactions. He removes access. No drama. No speeches. The other person feels the shift immediately. Standards also show up in what you accept from yourself. Men who command respect don't constantly self-betray. They don't talk about goals they never act on. They don't make promises they can't keep. When you respect your own word, others start doing the same. Another key point is consistency. Inconsistent standards confuse people. One day you tolerate disrespect, the next day you react. That unpredictability weakens your position. Respect comes from knowing where the line is, and knowing it won't move based on mood or pressure. You don't need to announce your boundaries. In fact, over-announcing them often looks insecure. Calm enforcement is far more powerful. When people see that certain behaviors simply don't work with you, they adjust, or they remove themselves. This also applies to how you spend your energy. Men with standards don't entertain nonsense. They don't stay in conversations that go nowhere. They don't chase people who give mixed signals. That selectiveness creates value. People assume that if you're choosing to be somewhere, it means something. The quiet truth is this: standards create gravity. They pull respect toward you naturally. When people sense that access to you must be earned and maintained, they treat you with care. You don't need to be aggressive to be respected. You need to be unavailable to what doesn't align with you. 6. Be comfortable with being misunderstood. One of the biggest reasons men talk too much is fear. Fear of being misread, judged, or misunderstood. So they explain, clarify, defend, and justify. And every extra word weakens their position. Men who command respect accept something most men can't. Not everyone needs to understand them. When you're comfortable being misunderstood, you stop performing. You stop trying to control other people's opinions. That calm detachment creates authority. People sense that you're not operating from insecurity, and they adjust how they treat you. A respected man doesn't rush to fix assumptions. If someone thinks the wrong thing, he doesn't panic. He knows that time and behavior reveal truth better than explanations ever will. This doesn't mean being deceptive. It means trusting your consistency more than your words. Another powerful shift happens when you stop defending your choices. Most men feel obligated to explain why they did something, why they said no, or why they chose a certain path. But explanations invite debate, and debate invites judgment. When you make decisions calmly and stand by them, people feel your certainty, even if they don't agree. Being misunderstood also requires emotional strength. It means tolerating discomfort without reacting, letting people think what they want while you stay grounded. This is hard, but it's one of the clearest signals of inner strength. There's also respect and restraint. Saying less, Sharing selectively. Not every thought needs a voice. Not every feeling needs an audience. When people don't have full access to you, they treat what they do get with more weight. Men who are constantly explaining themselves look like they're asking for permission. Men who are comfortable with silence look like they already have authority. Here's the quiet advantage. When you stop trying to control perception, you actually gain influence. People become more curious. They listen more closely when you speak. Your words carry more weight because they're rare. Respect doesn't come from being perfectly understood. It comes from being solid enough to stand without approval, clarity, or applause. Here's a statement most men aren't ready to hear. If you need to be understood, you are already giving up power. Respect doesn't come from explaining yourself perfectly or making sure everyone sees your good intentions. It comes from how you carry yourself when no explanation is offered. Everything we covered comes down to one idea: self-mastery. Your body language, your emotional control, your pace, your standards, your silence. These are not tricks. They are signals. And people respond to them instinctively. You don't have to announce confidence. You don't have to demand respect. When you live in alignment, respect shows up on its own. Most men try to earn respect by doing more, saying more, proving more. But the men who command respect do the opposite. They subtract. Less urgency, less reaction, less validation seeking, less explanation. And in that space, authority naturally forms. This isn't about becoming cold or detached from the world. It's about becoming grounded, calm, hard to shake. When you reach that place, people feel it immediately. They speak to you differently. They test you less. They listen more closely when you finally decide to speak. If any part of this hit close to home, that's a good thing. Awareness is the first shift. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start with one behavior, one habit, one moment where you choose restraint over reaction. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed a moment in your life where saying less earned you more respect? Or where over-explaining worked against you? Drop your experience in the comments. I read them, and I respond. This is how men grow. Quietly, intentionally, from the inside out.